Baldur's Gate 3 is split into 3 separate acts, each containing its own mysteries, quests, enemies, friends, and powerful items. In this video, we explore the countryside in Act 1, uncovering hidden treasures, interesting locations, and valuable secrets. This video is meant for beginners, but even seasoned veterans could benefit from these hidden features. I'm your host Spooky Pops, so sit back and enjoy the journey as I reveal 8 great secrets of Baldur's Gate 3 Act 1. Volo is a bard you meet early in Act 1 in the Emerald Grove. After saving him from the goblin village, Volo can attempt to remove the tadpole from your brain via your eye socket. Instead of removing the tadpole, he plucks out your eye and consequently provides you with a permanent Detect Invisibility spell. This secret is one of the few permanent conditions or spells you may obtain in the game. Let's walk through exactly where you meet Volo and where to save him. You meet him in the Emerald Grove located on the northeast section of the map in Act 1. He gets captured by a goblin and is held captive in the goblin village located on the left side of the map. After you pass through the village into the goblin stronghold, head to the right and you can find Volo in a small room. There are a few different ways to save him. You can either break him out through brute force, or you can pass a skill check with his captor who grants him freedom. After you finish getting him out of the village, you can speak with him in your camp. There's a dialogue option where you ask him if he can help you remove the tadpole. After a long rest, you can return to him to perform the procedure. He does take a needle and an ice pick to your eye, which does fall out of its socket, but no pain, no gain, right? I could be wrong, but as far as I know, there's only one other permanent effect you can gain in the game, and it is also found in Act 1. There is a Loviatar priest that can be found in the goblin village next to the room where Volo is being held captive. Loviatar is a goddess who loves to inflict pain in a very suggestive and sensual way. Through a series of dialogue options, the priest puts you to a pain tolerance test. He asks you to stand facing the wall and then proceeds to hit you 3 consecutive times. Between each hit, you'll have to scream and shout to satisfy the test. You can do this through a series of skill checks. Once complete, congratulations, you have passed the test and the priest provides you with a permanent Loviatar blessing that gives you advantages when your health drops below a certain threshold. The enchantment isn't overpowered necessarily, but it can be game-changing in a tight spot. There's a few powerful Act 1 weapons that are easy to obtain and extremely strong. The first one is at the beginning of the game in the Nautiloid ship. In the ship's helm, there is a commander who wields a powerful fiery greatsword. Since patch 1.0, the fight is much harder than it was back in early access, but there is an easy way to obtain the sword and secure your passage off the ship. Shadowheart has a command spell you can use on the commander to compel him to drop his weapon. After he drops the greatsword, it's yours to grab on your way off the helm. As a bonus, if you slay the commander, you gain 150 experience for your whole party, which is a large amount for the beginning of the game. I have already covered this topic extensively in another video, so I will put a link to that in the comments below. The video describes how to free Shadowheart with only minor changes. The rune to free Shadowheart can be found on a corpse instead of in the chest. Note that you will have to adjust her spells to have command at the ready. Hit K to do this. Although the fight with the commander is tough, there are several Nautiloid tanks you can use to nuke down the commander to give you the sweet experience boost. The other powerful weapon in Act 1 is found in Joaquin's Rest. The land can be found on the northern boundary of Act 1. Goblins attack this villa and set fire to the homes with people still trapped inside. After getting past the front doors, head upstairs through fire, flames, and smoke. Attack the barricade leading into this room to give an escape route to Counselor Floric. Once outside, she tasks you with saving the Duke as a quest. Finishing the dialogue grants you a powerful weapon of your choice. There are 3 options you have: a trident, bow, or quarterstaff. In my opinion, the optimal weapon is an obvious choice. Each of these weapons provides lightning charges when used, but the key is to actually use the weapon. So as long as you are using Gale or a spellcaster in your party, the quarterstaff provides extra damage with every spell you use. The damage is not as guaranteed with the other weapons, as you may not use the other weapons as consistently. Regardless of what you choose, you have a powerful weapon you can obtain. Note there is another person you can save from this house who reveals a dowry you can find in the villa. There is another secret location you can find in this villa. In the northwest section of Joaquin's Rest, there's a barn blocked by boxes that can easily be moved. Inside the barn, there's a secret entrance to the Zehmentain's hideout. I think I'm saying that right. The Zehmentain group is a secret organization dedicated to making money in various black market ways. There are a variety of ways to gain access to the hideout. It's possible you can brute force your way through. The hidden entrance to the cavern is behind this wardrobe. If you do brute force your way in, you will most likely be hostile to the people inside. The way I gained entrance was through a member of the group. Close to the villa, you can find Zehmentain merchants with a mysterious cargo. This cavern, unfortunately, was attacked by a group of wild hyenas and co., but you can intervene to save a few merchants. One of these tells you the password to the hideout. Note you can also intimidate this guy into giving you the mysterious cargo, which turns into a quest. Regardless of how you get in, the Zehmentain's hideout contains a number of interesting items, including a very rare piece that could definitely be used by a necromancer. It also contains a fair amount of gold. If you do go for these items in gold, the merchants definitely will attack you. There are a number of Mind Flayer parasites you can find in Act 1. For those of you who don't know, as you progress in the story, you can develop strong Mind Flayer powers that can be used in combat. The parasites allow progression in these powers. 3 can be found on the leaders in the Goblin Village, 1 on the row near the Owlbear Cave, 1 on a hyena leader in the north, and 1 in the Emerald Grove Sanctuary. It's the last one I want to focus on because I completely ignored the parasite on my first playthrough. Inside the inner sanctum within the Emerald Grove, you can find a healer named Nettie. By asking for her help, she opens a hidden entrance to the library. The parasite is yours to take on the table. I grabbed it with a stealth Asterion to avoid any attention. Note if you help the druids and tieflings kill the goblins, you can also gain entrance to the secret dungeon in the library. The next secret location can be found in the Goblin Village. There is a well very close to the blighted waypoint you can enter. Below you can find a cavern filled with webs and spiders and a giant matriarch spider. The easiest way to beat this spider is to shove it off into the void. One of your melee characters can do this, or you can have Gale use Misty Step behind the creature, followed by Thunderweave to push the spider off into the deep abyss. The other cool part of this cavern is it provides easy access to the Underdark. The green abyss near the mother spider nest leads to the Underdark. I don't know if it's necessary, but I had Gale cast the Light as a Feather spell on the party before jumping down into the Underdark. Note there are a number of ways to enter the Underdark, but this method is just one of them. And finally, in the northwest, there's a group of Githyanki searching for a powerful artifact that you actually happen to have. Normally, it is safe to avoid this group because they have a very large dragon. However, if you have Lae'zel in your party, you can semi-safely walk up and speak with this group. You'll have to pass a few skill checks, but the group remains unhostile to your party. After the encounter, you gain a whopping 400 plus experience just by simply talking with the group. This encounter is an easy way to see a dragon up close and a boost in experience. As a bonus, here are some other things to look out for on your travels through the countryside. There's an owl bear egg in a cave close to the center of the map. If you grab the egg, you can use this in a quest involving Lae'zel later in the story. Be on the lookout for a number of hidden chests buried underneath the surface of the ground. Auntie Ethel can be found in the bottom left part of the map in Act 1. There's a quest involving this location that has a Hansel and Gretel type situation, which is actually really well done and one of my favorites in Act 1. The other important thing to remember is that you can have all 6 of the origin characters in your party, and you can get them all in Act 1. There's Karlach and Will, Shadowheart and Lae'zel, Gale and Asterion. The other companion you can have in your party, in addition to this, is Halsin the Druid. You can invite all of these people back to your camp. And we can't forget about Scratch the dog. And those are my top 8 secrets of Baldur's Gate 3 Act 1. I love how Larian designed this game with many secrets, hidden areas, and a plethora of interactable NPCs. Make sure to hit these secrets as you travel around the countryside. if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 content. That's it for me. Spooky Pops out.